Hello everyone, welcome to today's SAT test preparation workshop. Today we're going to talk something about Pride and Prejudice. Yes, we're using Pride and Prejudice as a material for you to help you to prepare for your SAT reading test. So for today's agenda, we're going to first talk about what is included in an SAT reading test. I'm going to do a very brief introduction on SAT reading test. And then we're going to go deeper. We're going to take a look at the literature adaptation in SAT. We're going to talk about when you get a passage on literature adaptation in SAT, how are you going to read it efficiently? How to gain the highest score in the minimal time. And then we're going to use Pride and Prejudice as a material for you to practice what we learned today in our workshop. So now let's take a look at the introduction to SAT reading. So the time duration of a typical SAT reading is 65 minutes. You are required to answer 52 questions in this given 65 minutes. Of course, you have to include the time for reading in the 65 minutes. So how do you allocate your time reasonably and efficiently is the key. So in all, you are required to read 4 single passages plus 1 pair of passages. I know it sounds a little bit intense, like in 65 minutes, you will be reading 6 passages, but don't worry. I believe after our sessions, after our entire workshop, you will have some idea of how to read no matter what kind of passage in an SAT reading with our special strategy. And then, so each passage is about 500 to 750 words. So as you can see, it's not really that long. And after each passage, you will be answering 10 to 11 questions. So as I mentioned earlier, you need to learn how to allocate your time reasonably. Okay, so as I said that in an SAT test, you will be required to read 6 passages, 4 passages, and 1 pair of passages. So what subjects, what topics are usually included in an SAT reading? The first one is US and world literature passage, which is the literature adaptation that I was just talking about, which is also the key of today's class. And then we're going to read 2 history or historical study passages and 2 science passages. So as you can see, there's no way to predict what topic, like specific topic, will be included in each SAT test. So that's why the strategies for you to read each passage is very important for you. All right, let's jump into the key point for today's workshop, literature adaptation in SAT. So when we get a passage about literature adaptation in SAT, how do we read it? As we know that, as I said earlier, that there's no way for you to predict the specific content, like what literature, what classic will be appearing in the SAT test. The key point is to read or treat each passage equally. Use the way that I'm going to teach you later. But before we start to talk about the ways, let's take a look what passages have been chosen to be adapted in an SAT test. The first one is Jane Eyre, which is also my personal favorite because, the plot is pretty twisted and the plot is real and the character is very emotional. And also the other one is The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton, and 3 Guineas by Virginia Woolf, and The Bold Soprano by Eugene Ionesco. So, as I said earlier, there's no way for you to predict which classic literature will be shown in the SAT test. So it's important for you to master the ways to read them. So in order to read a literature adaptation in SAT effectively and to gain high score, there are 2 key points for you. The first one is that you have to know if it's a literature adaptation, each paragraph of the adapted passage is on a different topic. So when you are reading a passage, you need to summarize the content of each paragraph as well as the emotion, like what kind of emotional feelings the author is trying to express in the passage. Is the main character happy, sad, or angry, or any other controversial feelings? That's what you need to summarize. Okay, so I know this sounds a little bit abstract. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give it a try. As I said earlier, we're going to use Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice to practice the method that I just taught you.